I didn't drink water. I should have done that. Let me let me do that before we actually start. Drink some water. Yeah. Also, why is my cable so incredibly tangled? What's up with that? Anyway, you can't. And you can't hear me walking. This is so over. Anyway, uh, here we are. So, is this working? Yes, this working. Yeah, yeah. We're back. After the longest break ever, we are back, I guess. And we are better than ever, I guess. I don't know. We are back. That's what matters. So yeah. Anyway, good evening, good afternoon. So many things happened. Little changed. Wow. What is this world? The proposition of this world. What's that? Anyway, here we are. So that's that. I guess I don't know. I should probably like get comfortable like that. I don't know. But anyway, um, there was like a whole week of nothing. So yeah, I guess stuff happened. But oh, wait. Holy shit, I forgot to do stuff. Very important stuff. Fucking god. Anyways, we work like that. We work like that. It can happen. So it's don't matter. But at least here we are. So that's something, I guess. I don't know. What's up? What has happened since the last time? I have no idea. So many things happened, I guess. It just been like in time, just like a week or so. Not so much. So in that sense, not that many things. Bad in any way. Also, I don't know. It's been a very lately. Let me say it like this. Having will allows you to do a lot more things than what you could ever believe. Otherwise, it's like when you are interested in sitting down and accomplishing something, you can see it happen. You can see the list of objectives that you set up for yourself slowly filling. As long as you have enough of them, it's like maybe if I were to just lose myself in the most complicated one, or no, not it's not even about complications, it's more about, yeah, I might over focus on one thing and I might forget that, yeah, there are multiple things to always be doing. It's like life allows for a lot of tasks to be performed. Not in a sense of multitasking, but rather the diversity of experiences that this world offers. That sort of thing is interesting, I guess. I will say it like this to begin with anything. It's sort of complicated because the reality is many things seem interesting. Maybe they are to some degree interesting, but they do not get to be themselves the most interesting thing because we just don't have enough time to appreciate what we have in front of us. There are many things that, in a metaphorical way, ask the question of are we going to be capable of taking them seriously? This whole world of, so to speak, interests and particular avenues to go in life in general, I guess. And since there are so many, it's complicated to be capable of appreciate that sometimes life allows for many chances about things and many ways to accomplish things, and in that way, it feels all more disconnected. Not because it truly is disconnected, but rather because the capacity to just enjoy one of them and not much else is quite distant. So, I don't know. It's the point itself is, in general, I believe that happens. I can say that from what I discuss with many people, it seems to be that way, but yeah, yeah. On the other hand, once you sort of find how to flow within what is your own life, within all the things that one must do, and all the things that one can say, one decides to do, despite them just being an interest, a personal interest, but also justifying them, not just us. That's a level of yeah. I have these things that I like, and I will do these things that I like. No, I can also see that I have these other options available to me that I can try to do. I don't necessarily I don't necessarily need to find them to be the exactly most surprising ones. They don't need to catch my hundred, my whole attention, basically. 100% of my attention. I don't need to have all of that captured. I can just have maybe 10 or 20 or 50 things and still do them. Because what matters is not exactly how much joy I get from doing them in the moment, but rather what it means to accomplish stuff. And in that way, all of those decisions, even if they are still personal, all of them allow for a sort of final conclusion that doesn't feel as distanced from a better way of being, I guess. And in that sense, it's nice, it's enjoyable. I can say it like that. I wouldn't propose that it is as insulting to assume that, yeah, maybe life lived through actions is better than a life experience only through reactions to the world. So yeah, it's nice. It's nice in that sense that yes, if any of that makes sense at all, that has been what has been happening more lately. I guess that has been. I don't know if just the last month, the last 15 days, the last week, just today to some degree. Who knows? The point is, yeah, life gets to be more. Not that it can be. Not that it can be more because we don't actually have enough life. We don't have enough things happening, and it can be more in that sense. It could be, but rather it has become more. It gets to be more. It's sort of, I guess, committing to the decisions that one takes. Yes, that will be another way to properly say it, and that's very much enjoyable. I assume. I feel like personally, I know I can't really complain in that sense. It's good. I guess any conscious decision of that sort is very much enjoyable. So that's something, and everything else that comes after that is, I would say, as positive as that, if nothing else. So yeah, very much, I guess, based on all the things that have transpired more recently, good. Let's say good. We have been here for quite a consistent amount of time this time around, so that's also good. And yeah, there are many things also to try and continue doing in that same direction of things to do and whatnot that I already talked about. There are many more days to come, and also everything else besides that. So yeah, the future looks bright, or by shining in the present, we get to make the future even brighter. Let's say it's this conscious decision to try and procure. I guess that's the better way to say it. Trying to procure an even better future works. In this case, I don't know. I I like some generalizations, but some other ones, yeah, I can see that not everyone sadly gets to enjoy the best things of that sort or anything like that. Not because it's impossible to have them, but rather just because sadly that's how we are, and not much more. We very few things at our disposal to some degree, and sadly, most of them are not truly that deep in any way. It's, I don't know. It's to some degree. It's a very much even more complicated idea because to which degree itself it is that we don't get to have an even better life just because we can't allow ourselves to try and cultivate something of that sort? That's a complicated question, not due to how we might be or we could get to be, but rather because how we are right now. Maybe I don't know. It's complicated in general. I would say not not something complicated because it is incomprehensible, but rather complicated because yeah, I might not want. If it were to be the case that I might be, life can have a more joy. It can give me more things to be happy about. Let's say, okay, it's cool existing that way, but also I don't truly believe that I need to allow myself to let that happen. So, will I actually work for that? Will I get Will I aim towards that sort of happiness, of satisfaction? And even more, not only will I do those things, can I, if I fail, accept that I didn't work for them? It's it's a complicated discussion to some degree. I understand why that doesn't exist as much lately. I think I hear in a general sort of way. We like to talk about how we are not so responsible for things, but I don't know. I I find meanings of things that seem to be mostly related to oneself than anything else. More and more out there than what we got to ever recognize before. And I will assume that's good. From a personal perspective, I will assume that's good. I think that, yeah, this whole narrative of, yeah, life is the current world, the current system, very much depressive because there is no proper human, there is no proper definition of what the self is. This whole idea of destiny, our own destiny has already been decided by someone else. We don't get to be what we want, we get to be what someone already decided for us. I can see it. Shattering once it touches reality. The world is truly open to many things, open to many options, and it's the infinite bifurcation of all the things that could ever be that makes it even more complicated to some degree, mostly also because, yeah, suddenly we can't actually try to do something to get as much juice as we can out of things. So it's hard, but nonetheless, it's something that feels in any way good. I will say, and that's enough. That's that's more than enough to some degree. And yeah, just because of that, everything else also is motivating enough. You can say, and in general, very much in general, it seems like we are going towards somewhere. And I don't know. I think on a very it's a very broad statement to say we are going towards somewhere. It's all the pieces keep moving in directions. It's a promise, not a not a promise, not a prediction. It's just an unavoidable announcement, let's say, of yeah, I think the future will be great. Let's say it like that. We are very good in that sense. So yeah, things are therefore nice or even better. And all of that makes this worthwhile, I guess. That, oh, also, yeah, welcome, welcome, Goldie. Good evening. I hope You're well. Yeah, I guess in a shortened version, we are good. That's the main message. We are very good. So we are good. And we can be even better. We shall be even better. Let's check out the spell. Thank you. Aside from that, I don't know. Many things happen. As the world keeps happening, everything else keeps happening. I don't know. I feel like to some degree it's weird to always say that it's nice to see things moving in all directions. But yeah, things are always changing. That's a meme of yeah, things don't change. No, I think we are very good. I think we I think the world is very much this despite some oddities, some unavoidable oddities, yeah. Events that are good enough keep happening at a good enough rate that they might as well feel like they are overwhelming the other ones. Not that bad things don't happen, but rather the rate of good things that also happen is bigger. So that's a good enough thing. I wouldn't know to say, yeah, if saying that a good enough thing to celebrate about, but yeah, it's good things happen and the present is not so bad. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I guess that's just how things work to some degree. It's just how life itself goes. Getting into the habit of seeing things happen, observing everything that always can be, and trying to just I don't know. Sometimes even participation feels like more than what truly needs to be done. It's it's the basic degree of being that makes it already good. Participation itself is an even bigger instrument of anything, but just being there already is nice. So yeah, the world is nowadays looking better, I guess. But I don't know. In any ways, it's still just at best I can say probably a subjective experience. I haven't found yet. One day we will have to remain with that hope of maybe one day until the day that I die. One day we might find the words that break it for everyone else. But yeah, so far, at least for myself, things look that way nice. So yeah, maybe in the future things can be expressed to look nice for everyone. Maybe we still have work to do, I guess. So it's a sort of deserved thing to not be capable of proclaiming that yeah we are good, all of us. sort of sadly, sort of truly, and it's good. It's good. It's anyways good. And I don't know. It's just life, I guess. It's just that it has many things and it offers. It offers everything. The, the question is how much can we act and how much can we try to act and how much we can even believe that it is necessary to act on what we see. But finding finding oneself in that process is what matters to some degree, and that's that. Not okay. I can let me try to say it in this way. I can see that it's not a necessity to truly just focus on what we are, but gaining the certainty of being anything, being something that feels good, understanding what being means for oneself, I guess. Let's say it in that way. Getting to understand what a being entails is a good project, and it's something useful to try or bountiful to commit to, and all of that is quite good. I can say I don't know. I feel like I think it's possibly dangerous statement to some degree, but yeah, there was this whole. I remember, at least from a personal perspective, I always heard about how much it used to be an issue to talk about, or not talk about, to hear people always proclaiming that, yeah, they wanted to grow up and having the necessity to grow up and whatnot, and how much of a mistake it was to always want to be an adult, that the world of adults is not an enjoyable one. I don't know. I don't find myself standing here powerless. It's not such a desolating picture, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say basically, and it's good. That's very good, I guess. But it's it's nonetheless still once again complicated. It's not about oh wow yeah. It's useful to try and hurry the process of getting to mature about things. Not even that I am fully matured myself, for example, but it's just yeah. And what reality seems to be is that what reality seems to offer is this whole set of tiny useful things, tiny benefits that make being lighter in the sense of moderating, I guess. But I don't know. It's not like any other stage is not enjoyable. It's not like, oh yeah, yeah, being being young is so useless and being old is also so depressing. But it's I maybe it's something weird to say, but yeah. Let's go with this expression. I have heard too many times people hate on being an adult, and I don't know. I don't find it to be something so utterly bad, so utterly horrible or traumatic like people seems to make it sound. I guess it's just I I think I already mentioned it before, but I just see it as this whole idea of what life is not being a mature older person in a way in which you are not what you used to be when you were a child, but it's just adjusting yourself to a reality in which everyone is, to some degree, also this sort of grown up kid who once had the things that made them feel the world and understanding what makes you also have those sensations in a way in which it's nice enough and reasonable enough for what we want to have in our own experiences, not overvaluing how much we can adapt to force ourselves to like things, but rather that's that level. I guess that's what I'm also trying to talk about. That level of honesty of yeah, yeah. I have things to do. I have a life to live. Will I go for things that I actually like, or will I have a miserable life in which I have no things that I actually enjoy? Or I just have a handful of them. And I don't know. Personally, it feels like, yeah, it's possible to have a good balance between. No, not. Balance implies having both of them. It's possible to find how to make everything feel like that sort of, yeah, yeah. I enjoy having them in my life. It's the privilege of life embraced, not much more. It's all of what we are given, accepted instead of just waiting for something to go in the smallest wrong direction possible to start complaining about everything that has happened so far. That's to some degree how it feels. And yeah, that's good enough. That's that's nice enough, I guess. And I don't think that's. I don't. Maybe it's something wild to say. I don't know. It's complicated, but I feel it like it's at least my sort of truth in that sense. That doesn't come from killing the inner child or anything like that. It's just yeah. I have always loved some things. Am I truly trying to have those things for me, or will I always run away from what I see is my interest in life? And that's an action that pays. Not in any sort of physical manner, in most cases, but rather, I don't know, is it a bad word? But that realm of what gets called spiritual satisfaction, you know? And yeah, things pretty much are fine. That's that's literally the whole message of this. Things are fine. Life is good, finally. So it's because of that exactly it is that life is as valuable as it gets to be. Or not even as it gets to be, as if there was not even more value to gain from it in the future. But as valuable as we could have realized that it was since a long time ago. And that's sort of enough. But yeah, that's pretty much it, I guess. I don't know. I just feel like there's always what I sort of said earlier. There are so many things also left. The world, once you are interested in seeing what could be, what could happen if we were to do things, let's say, there is. Maybe this is something complicated, but maybe it isn't that complicated. There is this sort of world in which, yeah, we can just live in the reality of a very limited thing, a very limited set of things that I can do, that I can be, that I can see, that I can influence, or obviously the complete opposite one of maybe reality offers many of those. Maybe if I look out, it's a sea of gifts to embrace, not not opportunities to take. I don't like. You're not being clever by taking an opportunity. It's literally just being opportunistic to act on any given opportunity. It's in that other side of yeah. Things go in directions, and whether we would take one that we like and one that we may not find us intricately enjoyable. We get to see the world still, and that's enough. That's sort of enough, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. All I can say though is also it's very complicated. There are many other things that still needed time to be properly processed in some way. I once again, at least from a personal perspective, suddenly I find myself immersed in many things that I never believed myself, but I used to accept just because it was easier to say, yeah, yeah. We all talk about these things, you know. It's easy to leave it on the hands of this supposed everyone rather than see if I personally need them, like them, want them, will have a use for them or not, and then decide to take them or not. And because of that, it feels, I wouldn't say weird, but it feels good. It feels like something. And that something is sort of enough. But yeah, I think if nothing else, at least now we're in a time of doing, I guess. It's that worry, obviously, from saying, yeah, 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 time to do things, time to participate on the world. It has finally become the era of events, so to speak. Metaphorically, we are almost there. We just need a little bit more of energy, intensity. I can say, I can probably say that the most appropriate one, but it's also the most complicated one to use. Drive. That's the closest one to the best one. We still cannot handle properly what is passion, so that one has to stay a little bit more hidden so far, but at least we have a drive. what drives us, if talking about what we are passionate about is still hard, is still risky, so to speak. But yeah, I I think I know I said it at some point. It's it's an unavoidable mention because it seems to become such a useful thing, at least for me. But yeah, there is this guy who says that yeah, there is no way in which we can avoid choosing, because if what we are saying is that making choices is risky, even the choice of not choosing, which is obviously also a choice, carries a risk, pays out in some way. Everything is a selection. And yeah, so sometimes maybe it's less about worrying about which ones we are taking in terms of comparing everything, but rather which ones we are committing ourselves to and starting to properly define and then talk about being there and trying to do things in a way in which it all feels like it's going somewhere. But yeah, yeah, it's it's still sufficient. This world is more than enough. And I guess maybe this gets to be one of those times in which it also applies to say yeah. And sometimes we can believe that there might be an infinite amount of lives to live, that we might be trapped in an endless cycle of reincarnations or whatever, but even if we were to have just one, lives with such joy are worth it, even if they are just this one life that we get to have and not much else. Even then, it was a worth life living. And yeah, that's why I don't know. That's why we're here, probably today at least, in the most obvious sense. Obviously, because this is what we are talking about, but also because this is what we are talking about. That sort of event that gets to be enjoyed through doing is what matters. What possesses some importance in any way. That's good. At least I think so. That's good enough. But yeah, I don't know. I still think there are many other things to say. There are many other things to try and integrate. I have, for example, personally, I remember sort of trying to mention it before, but it's also always something useful to observe. Being or getting to experience things that require effort might also require not just the effort, but a little bit of oneself, let's say. Not that we don't get to be who we are, because we have to be also those who do other things, but rather it's just knowing that sometimes if I have to do something, it will take a part of my self-expression, so to speak. If I decide to paint walls every single day of my life to get some kind of monetary reward, what I get to have is not I would use time, but rather just the one invested in securing my life in the other times. And it's not that I am not being me when I do that, but it's just empty. Something that doesn't matter, let's say. But yeah, I I can say I look around and I don't feel in that way. It's still a complicated expression. But yeah, doing what we appreciate is highly efficient solver of this kind of issues, or antidote for to this kind of issues that seem to plague us so much, others in a way. And I don't know, I don't think that it's not about having zero worries or anything like that. I am not in that mode of yeah. Life should have as little complications as possible. I like them. I think that, if anything, yeah, I, I like, I like my life when it is challenging. You know, it's not a good life. If it was a boring one, it's this sort of expression of yeah, yeah. When choosing to just live, sitting or die standing, it's always going to be a preferable choice to die standing. It's always the possibility of standing at all that makes it worth it. And what I said before, not because of wanting to just go against the wave or needing to demonstrate anything like that, but yeah, life can have its unique flavor. One just needs to try and look out there to see what they find, to understand it. Then the flavor becomes sort of apparent. More reachable, if not. But yeah, things are good. That's basically it. Things are very, very good. And they should try to keep it being that way. And even if these things that I always say here, even if it's all tiresome, it has a sense. It's finally something justified in the grand scheme of things. It's not just this everlasting question of, yeah, yeah, why the fuck are we doing things? Why the hell are we trying to do anything? I don't think the proper word is just honesty, sincerity, or commitments to any of those things. It's just, yeah, you know.
Where, Mr. 305, dialing today. I just want to tell you, que a mí me gusta la Pepsi.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Naya, for the ride. Welcome. Good, good evening slash night. I hope. A very good stream. Thank you very much. Ah, welcome, people. Today, what are we doing? No idea. Uh, the category is just chatting, so yeah, we are doing that, I guess. Raid? No, shout out. Yeah. No. eh, Okay. Did I write it? No, no, no. Okay, there it is. There it is. I wrote it perfectly. We are so what? A message has been retained? Cannot believe it. Fucking bot. I love it, man. Anyway, subtitles? Yeah, I mean, we had them. There were in the past. In the past, there were some, but due to issues, there are no more subtitles. I will be Lark. Okay, thank you. Anyways, yeah, thanks for the raid. As always, sorry for not saying that. Thanks for the raid. Thanks for the time. Thanks. I hope you had a nice stream. Please go go and do your stuff. Why do we why I don't want to get to meta, but why do we need to it's like, oh yeah, no, I cannot believe it. They didn't tell me that I am liberated to be. Wow, it's so over. And now I am forced. No, man. What are you talking about? It's just, why do we need to try and overcomplicate things, you know? Uh, it's it's the lack of explanations for everything, I guess. But it's also those little things that we need to have, I guess. It's those tiny details that give it also the sense to the everyday. Oh yeah, no, it's this tiny tradition that I have to keep up. Oh wow, yeah. Oh my god, wow. We have this whole process to go through. It means all of these things, and yeah, and there are all of these steps to it, and it's it's not an obligation, but is it pleasant? It at least let us feel in harmony with everything else, I guess. Let's say it like that. And that's enough. That things make sense is good enough. Why are so many common words made at emotes? Why? Because you are seeing the pro. What happens when you use 70V? The best of its capacities. But yeah, that's what happens. Don't worry. We love them like that here. Symbols for everything. I mean, to some degree, yeah, I still have to read about it, but all the words are a symbol anyway, so it's just re-symbolizing the symbols themselves that you already use in other contexts. After all, that's the complicated part of it, I guess, that yeah. if if you see a dog, and if you see the word dog, and both of them represent the same to you, you're still just associating things. A dog itself, and what we call a dog, what is the word dog, are still just symbols that refer to the dog. Anyway. we complicated, I guess. The Vegeta is so good, though. I say it, but uh, don't worry. Also, I at this point, I think I have. I must say myself, time slowly corrodes things. You can see the decay that happens in life. I don't know, man. Going all this is complicated. I guess I don't know. I don't want to sound so fucking bad, but yeah, man. It's sometimes you forget this stuff. Children, I guess I don't know. Not because you don't care, but rather just because it happens. Sadly, but it doesn't matter. At least, at least we are. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for the look. That's that was what I was trying to say. Thanks for it. I don't know. I guess just being. I guess. What has been the point of today, truly? That's a very 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 important question. What has been the point of today? Being. I guess I don't know. It's this issue of yeah. This there is something that I always hear that I don't know if I like or I dislike, but yeah, we like to be there in that discussion of yeah. Can I be something that I like? Can I be something that I find good? I mean, there are many things that can fulfill that description, but yeah, can I get to be that, which I know will always be enjoyable? Can I decide on anything in that way? And that's the proper questioning in some form that matters, and that's enough, I guess. That's or not enough. Not just the question. Knowing that it can happen is what matters, and trying to get that to be the reality. But I don't know, man. Goals are complicated. Let's say it like that. I can spend my whole life saying that I like things. There is, yeah, I haven't really put that into this perspective, but there was a particular going to it. Yeah. Good night, yeah. Thanks for the ride once again. There was this one practice that now I remember. Um, this thing of try to be grateful for 5 minutes about as many things as you can. Try to see how many things you can be grateful for. And the reality is, there is an endless degree of things to be grateful for. Radical gratefulness allows you to be grateful about everything. All the things that we see are things that we can thank, that we can be thankful for to some degree. But do we need to spend life itself just on that level of yeah? I I have this, I am happy, and continuously saying that, and that's it? I don't think it's something that just by repeating it, it comes, or it accentuates itself, I guess. I would even say, okay, idea. I would even say it like this. We have something very similar in the more primal level of, yeah, just squeezing what will be in any kind of hormone created by the reactions of things. That's the primal level. And in the sapiens level, we have the things that we get to say, the words that we get to use. I like this thing. And it's just by affirming that I like something that I feel good from that level of myself. But it's not truly much, I feel like. It's not about that. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. It's not about oh yeah, what a nice thing to have. I don't know, so many things to read, so many things to see, so many things to do. Am I actually doing, reading, seeing anything? No, not really. But oh yeah. What a wonderful thing to have so many days to spend. Am I actually using them? No. What a wonderful life to experience. Saying all that I am actually saying anything? Most of the time, not. If I fear saying anything because I fear the consequences, no, not really. Not really, but I can say stuff that I feel like means something to me. Do I have to deal with the realization of maybe it doesn't? Maybe not, and maybe obviously that's something that I would like very much more than than assuming that I might not really like something. You know, that's complicated. That's disheartening. I guess that's the level of yeah. I spent so much time saying that I like something when I completely fucking hate it. So wonderful, but I don't know. It is still just on a sort of different level. Another thing that we can't properly have anything like that exist. In most cases, I remember, okay, I remember having heard about it. And I don't, At least personally, I don't really like it so far. How we seem to look at it in the modern day of, yeah, any confrontation with the reality, any confrontation with the discomfort is bad, because the human is not made to feel bad. We have this primal urge for just satisfaction and blah blah blah. And does that actually work that way? Not, no, I don't feel like that, man. I think it has much more to offer the whole world, life, than just avoiding unpleasant things, I guess. It's ignoring everything else, or reducing it to that level. And I don't know. I just feel like this world has, I wouldn't say too much, or to some degree, not too much. Maybe in that sea of equally looking varieties that create or carry with them the illusion of choice in many of those options that are quote unquote available. But in the sea or in the group of things that matter, it's not as complicated. And I will say also what I mentioned before already, this thing of yeah, we can't deal with the displeasure of stuff. If anything, that's insulting. We get to go through a lot as long to some degree it sounds reductionist. Oh yeah, don't don't give up, brother. Things will look better tomorrow. Wow, astounding a statement. But at the same time, it's pretty much just that. Literally, just trying. you know, keep trying. If you want something, honestly enough, if you're interested in a certain thing, if you can truly see it, not not as a necessity, but rather as a proper interest, as a proper desire, then yeah, it's worth it. Commitment is useful, and even if it means dealing with yeah, I might have been doing what I didn't like before. It's still something. At the very least, it's something, or not. Not that it's something. It's anything or everything compared to not having anything. I don't know. It's still in general complicated. I still find it too much of a. Despite how much we try to spend the time trying to say the different and whatnot, it's still the reduction of. In the end, you can reduce it to just yeah. Either you do things that you like or you don't. That's just binary, still bad. I mean, to some degree. Also, the tiered option always is just returning. Let's say it like this: if following a life that is worth enough following is the first option, the second one unavoidable is the complete opposite of because we can't follow what we like, we shall as well aspire to die, not much more. The third one is just settling down with existing, I guess. Taking the chance of being and just being in the most basic way. That is also another option. Maybe not the best one, but that is another option, yeah. Never committing to that because it seems like too much of a scary thing, but always trying to peek, to knock its door as much as we can until the proper time comes. There are other ways, yeah, but I don't know. I don't truly think anything of the other sort is as useful. Maybe it's egotistical, but yeah, I wouldn't say you can expect things to go in other directions like that. Also, good night to you. Good night to you. Good night, Torny. Sorry. Yeah. Have a very good night. I don't know, probably. I should also consider going to bed, but it's. If I have, once again, if I have to be honest, reality is still, yes, sometimes I can say, yeah, I should do stuff. I should this or that or do or talk or say or la. Will I actually end up doing that? I mean, I can't say that I can go, I need to go to bed, okay. We can go through the whole process of, yeah. Goodbye, people. Until next time, tomorrow, whatever. Do you actually get to sleep? No. It's once again this idea of what I said before. Yeah, there are always infinite options to some degree. There are always choices to make at least, even if they are not infinite. There are always things to try and choose on, to decide on. And the point also is understanding why are we deciding, or for which purpose are we deciding something? Under which true reason are we doing some kind of action? But I don't know. It's inner workings are complicated. I guess if anything, inner workings are highly complicated. At least that's how I feel like. Personally, I have to say, yeah, knowing that what we are doing, knowing that the directions that we are taking are the right ones, knowing, having, seeing all of that is vexing, I guess. But well, it doesn't mean like that it cannot be at all explainable. It's just at least right now I feel like the best solution is just to try and understand it from oneself's perspective and not much more. I don't know. I cannot truly feel like it's satisfying to just get things told. Not because I don't want to hear someone else, I just want to hear myself. That's that's insulting to say to other people to begin with. That's degrading to hear if I had to hear that from someone else. But at least I don't have the need to just base what I can be based on a tiny description that someone else can make. You know, it's I guess it's very much continuing with yeah this slow process of growing up and whatnot. This slow realization of sometimes we have things that we like, that we have observed and found to be useful, to be interesting, to be a thing. I am not so subjected to others. I am not so in need of what anyone else might say in that sense, because I don't actually have an obligation to feel like it matters so much. There are other ways in which I can gain that sort of fulfillment. Once again, what I mentioned before, this sapiens satisfaction can also be reached through other methods, and maybe healthier ones, if anything. Or I don't know. I guess at least the best blanket term of everything in its proper measure or measurement. No, measure, I think it is. But yeah, nonetheless, yeah. Sometimes wanting more outside is good. Sometimes wanting more inside is good. Everything can be good. Well, also everything can be bad. It's just a matter of perspectives. But who knows? I think I think I had been also speaking for like an hour and a half. I should drink some water. That would be a very good idea. Ah, yeah, let me do that. Also, wait. I think the before I continue, I think I left this fucking yeah. The water was almost more than half of it in the air. It was about to fucking fall. Anyway, anyway, we are well. We are well. Nothing bad happened. Ah, crisis prevented. Crisis. Chrysalis. Wow. I don't know. I sort of started. I sort of abandoned it in before releasing anything. Yeah, once again, going back to it, this thing, self assessment is about those things that we have as true parts of ourselves. That is not just useful in a sense of, wow, yeah, what a nice thing to know that I know what I like. Let me say it like this: we are unavoidably bounded by the rest of what everyone else might say. Not that it matters exactly, in the sense of, oh, yeah, you should construct an identity of the self. It's your obliged to be yourself, but rather it's just you're given the opportunity to be yourself. You can have other distractions, let's say it like that can make it look like what matters is not exactly just being, but the distractions are everywhere about anything. And the biggest issue is not truly the distraction, but rather how we let it be part of us if it were to happen. That's different. That's not at all the same thing. And not that recognizing what we are is hard. It's just also I was gonna say time consuming. It's just time consuming, not really, or to some degree, unavoidably it is. But everything is time consuming. There is no thing that doesn't consume time. Some feel more rewarding based on the time that you use. Some feel less, but everything, nonetheless, consumes time. Even if it is almost instantaneous, it takes time. And it's not about that particularly, it's about just courage. Is that the proper word? And I wouldn't be capable of truly saying it with conviction, I guess, because it just falls under the hood of, yeah, yeah, well, if you cannot commit to self revelation. I mean, not really. Literally everyone oppresses me in my immediate surrounding. Now it's a problem of my will. You're going to tell me that it's my issue, not literally how beaten I get by everything else, but it's still my issue. This whole expression of, yeah, yeah, you in the capitalist societies you are free to revolt. You are also more free to revolt. You are free to fucking die of hunger if you to abandon your soul, because you're so looking for something else that might not exist in the system which you exist right now. No, you have a quote unquote option. I mean, yeah, we you lack a will. You can uprise against your oppressor. Maybe you get fucking beaten up. I mean, we are what I mentioned before. We are grown ups. It's not such an unavoidable reality that, yeah, not not every revolution leads to something good, even less something pacific. If everyone was like Gandhi, we would be in a very much better world in that sense. But we don't get to have things mostly through passivity, peace, and patience, and anything like that. But it's not that it doesn't matter. It's just overworrying about the wrong thing. The point is just trying, and the point is just having to see, to be, to do. Because, anyways, the point was itself being not even once again the identity or anything like that. It's just being. Before identifying, just being. I guess, enjoying if you want. Also, I will still personally consciously enjoy. Yeah, I mean, I can have some degree of enjoyment if I turn off my brain and I do the most basic loops of words. Those are also enjoyable. I can become a fucking addict to gambling. I can. I understand how the Skinner box works. Yeah, yeah. I can allow my brain to just look for the next reward that I might or might not come if I press the button and do that infinitely. That can happen. I mean, that's a possibility. If we're talking about them existing, that's one. But do it needs to do that? No, 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 not really. I mean, it shouldn't be a need. But at least I can say no. There are other things to look at. There are other places in which we can find other types of satisfaction, I guess. Yeah, yeah. I guess that's what I'm trying to get at myself. This issue is it an issue? No, not really. Worst, we like to make even more issues out of things that are just normal or this wonderful capacity, I guess, of okay, this is not complex, but it's complicated in the sense of if we are not both passing in the same page, it might heavily get misinterpreted. But one of the many consequences of deconstructionism is sadly how everything can be criticized. Sadly, because everything deserves to be criticized, or nothing deserves to not be criticized, basically. Not, but also same statements that work for the deconstructionism talk about this of yeah, and everything could be attacked, but that's not really the point. I mean, about semantics, we can lose an entire life. Once again, we can list everything else that's life has to offer that might be somewhat nice. Also, does that actually matter? No, not really. If the symbols that I use change, does it really matter? I mean, if I change one or two symbols, does that impact my whole life? No. I'm still symbolizing things. I'm still having a whole play with symbols. I am not there because of yeah these two symbols. It's the whole game of symbols that matters, and it's pretty much like that with I guess potentiality of things. And that's at least something. After that, the real choices are what become even more complicated to properly address it all, I guess. And being honest, I could say, and that's it. But the reality is also, we both know, yeah, and that line doesn't end. Suddenly, sometimes it is more about, I don't know, I wouldn't say mixing and matching everything from the basic colors that life offers to us, creating this new one that seems more enjoyable, but rather adding other colors, widening our basic palette of things. Not that art is beautiful just because it has the whole rainbow used on it. That's not the point of art. But it's once again the wide variety that allows it to be or catchy in a way. In that way in which at least it allows you to go for it, to try and see what it has to have to offer. That's that's yeah, that's the point. Can we actually reach such a status? I mean, one second. Saying things is easy. I mean, we can also say, yeah. We should have a world peace. Are we working to try and get that? We cannot say that we are. Do actions show that? Most cases, no, not really. Most of the world doesn't seem to be that directly participating or that much of a main participant in making the world peaceful. It's something, it's at least. Life is at least something. And after that, what I said before, the proper definitions we get to give them to it ourselves, not nothing else. But I also want to say, I don't say it because I don't think it's impossible to do it. I mean, Yeah, I can always force my vision of the positive things on others by just long enough periods of time, slowly hinting at what might be good or might what I like, what I see interesting, what I believe is the good thing of these things that I like. Does it actually matter? Oh, if anyone is annoyed by it, but yes, because even if I don't feel like I'm doing that, it's just a softer brainwashing to some degree, and that does it matter? Do we, objectively speaking, do we all gain something if that happens? I can't say, oh yeah, the gains from that. I mean, that's not what matters. That's not the real point. At least not nowadays. What matters is everything else. I guess. If nothing else, anyways, what I can say is now for real. Just, yeah, yeah. There is not much more for me to add today. It's to say much more. Yeah, I don't know. Tomorrow? Yeah. The question is with what? About what? I think probably tomorrow we have Canada. Very much probably. Slash guaranteed. We will see. I still have to decide if at all. So yeah, that will be it. Nice. But yeah, expressing oneself is actually useful. Wow, who would have said that? You know, instead of never expressing things, actually embracing words. What we used to think, also, we can use to say. Who would have said that? Who would have thought about it like that? Surprising. Upper rising? As in, usually? No, we sort of always knew. We sort of always knew. But anyways, the point was, thanks for everything. As always. And yeah, take care until next time. I already said so, yeah, probably tomorrow. Very much probably.